Hey everyone, welcome back to season 3 of Conversations in Pop Culture. And I have with me, I guess, my friend, Ozzy Longoria. So welcome back, man.
We go way back. It's been like the fourth time, I guess.
Yeah, we've been doing this forever, and that's the problem, isn't it?
The problem. I don't see the problem.
No, obviously I'm joking. I'm joking, everybody. Obviously, I this is like the fourth or fifth time Ozzy's been on a bunch of times. And obviously I enjoy talking to Ozzy. And so one of the things though that I do want to talk about and catch everybody up on is that you basically are continuing the Sword and the Sorcerer. I know that this is sort of the sequel to the movie that was done 40 years ago. And I think this campaign on Indiegogo is for issues 2 to 5. And so, what exactly is going on with this project, and sort of catch everybody up for those who missed our first interview that we did a while back, and also sort of for those who don't even know what the Sword and the Sorcerer is per se.
Yeah. All right. Let's start with that. The Sword and the Sorcerer is a movie from the '80s. It's a cult movie done by, directed by Albert Pune. He wrote the story. He directed the story, and we already have one campaign out. That's the Beasley cover. We like to call it like that because Simon Beasley. And we are doing the continuation of the saga, which is 2, 3, 4, and 5 issues, like 4 issues, and those numbers. And the reason why we're doing that is because we have some rights issues that we need to publish them in. I need to publish them in 3 months. If not, I lose the right to do it. But then after that, I'm gonna keep going at a slow pace. I'm gonna do issue one. I'm gonna do issue 2, 3, 4, like slowly, during probably this year and next year too. And we might do the another series from the Sword and the Sorcerer if we get those rights back.
And so to even go into this, because obviously for those who don't know the Sword and the Sorcerer, pretty much, I guess a king or a duke pretty much wanted to take over a kingship, sort of staged an entire rebellion, made a deal with the
Right.
devil, which is the sorcerer, and then he took over. And then the king's son, upon, or I don't know if it was a neighboring kingdom, but the point of the matter is that this guy made a deal with the sorcerer, granted him power, and then
Yeah.
the king's son, after he got killed, basically fled and returns a certain amount of time after and sort of defeats both the sorcerer and his, I guess, rival king who took over and reclaims his whole position. And I mean, it's 40 years old. I'm going to ruin it.
And
The
then and
king's
then
son.
the story is about the main character is Talon. It was the prince who comes back to get his kingdom back. And
Yeah,
the
and we're gonna spoil it. We're gonna spoil it. I mean, it's 40 years old. If you haven't seen it yet,
it,
I don't know what to say, guys. I'm sorry.
they
You
put it
got
on they put it on
to
TV a lot of times, so you can be spoiled. That
I mean, basically, he winds up killing the king who took it away from him, and the sorcerer, if you will. Um, and then obviously, this is kind of where this campaign kicks off,
right.
where
Issue
Talon,
one
yeah,
issue one is basically the sequel of that story that you're telling. And issue
and
two,
so obviously Talon winds up, leaving it to, I guess, his friend or another person who is more fitting in talent, sort of goes off on an adventure to
right.
some degree. And obviously that's kind of where issues 2, 3, 4, and 5 pick up with it. And so what is this like for you? Because obviously you have the movie, and you also have some of the rights. You also have, I would imagine, some notes and some things that were not in the movie per se. And what is this like? Because you have a starting point, and then you wrote issue 1, and now we have 4 other issues to play around with. And so, what
Right.
is this like? Because it can be tricky to some degree.
It can be tricky for sure. You need to find all the right elements of the story, and what we're trying to do is expand the universe, basically, because the story is a little complex, like you mentioned, and then we're trying to use some of the characters that are already established in the movie, and some of them we explain the backstory. Some of them we create new characters too, so they can use them for different stories. We use them a lot, actually, all the new characters too. So what we do, what we're trying to do is just make it epic, because we're trying to do things that a B movie cannot do, which is spend the money on big epic battles, monsters, and that's what I think. That was my take, that movie was needed of that. If you notice any other sword and sorcerer movie like Conan, they have the big monsters, they have big battles, and obviously you can't do much without money. And this movie,
So let's even talk about that because this is really interesting. So I don't think it's a diss or it's mean to say this, but The Sword and the Sorcerer was a B movie,
it is,
by
yeah,
definition, and it's a great movie. I enjoy it. You know, it's fun to watch it. It's the type of movie that you and your friends can watch, and you could be hammered and you can enjoy it. You know, in a
yeah,
lot of ways, and you don't have to go ultra crazy over it. You know what I mean? It's readily available. You know, it's pretty free on the internet if you really want to go down
it
that
is.
route.
You can
Uh,
find it on YouTube, but you can also buy it on. It just came out on Blu-ray,
we're
4K.
gonna get there, I promise.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is like you can buy it now, like in good quality.
But even to go into that, because when you have a B movie, obviously it's a B movie because there's less funding there, and also somebody wants to get it published. But obviously, the movie has made more than what was put into it by nature at this point. But again, you don't get those special effects. You also don't get a lot of other things. And so to go to the comic side, in a comic, you could do whatever the writer and artist can draw per se. And so what is
Right.
that like for you? Because the sky's the limit based on ability versus based on, CGI and all that stuff. Because obviously there's a difference where if you were to do the Sword and the Sorcerer right now, it would be very expensive to do it the right way.
Oh yeah,
In a comic, maybe your artist is $50 more a page if you really want it done that way, if that makes any sense.
yeah, for sure. That's what I did. I handpicked some of the best artists out there. Um, I picked an Italian guy, Francesco Conte, um, um, Bram Stoker Award winner, Stefano Cardozelli. So many more. I just can't think the names right now. They're different. They're hard to pronounce, actually. But yeah, it's all about picking the right artists. They did an amazing job. Like if you see those black and white pages are amazing. They can be, actually. I'm thinking in doing a black and white release of the pages, because they're so good.
To even talk about that also, obviously, I mean, and also it's no secret where Avatar: The Last Airbender for the longest time was releasing in comics because a comic is way cheaper than a animated production show. It's also faster. 144 page graphic novel done through Dark Horse in a hardcover bound book, through and through is $20,000 to $25,000. And I know what everybody's thinking. $25,000 is a lot of money, and yes, it is a lot of money, but not when you're comparing it to doing a movie or doing a
Yeah,
TV show. It's
millions and
significantly
millions of dollars.
less. And then also, obviously, once you have this art, and you mentioned something interesting, you can do a black and white release. You can do a color release, and that's the other thing too is that there's also a lot of, I guess, repurposed value that can be derived from this stuff once it's done. And so what is that like for you? Because obviously, not to beat up the movie, but it's a little bit harder to repurpose a movie's content per se versus a comic book's content.
Yeah, but I feel that this movie has a lot to offer. Um, my
We're
take,
not, we're not dissing the movie.
no, 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 definitely not. But it is. I mean, it's like you said, it's a B movie. There's less quality, obviously, there because there's less money to be produced. I think they made it for $18 million, and but they did recover the money. I think they made 214 million worldwide, which is a it was one of the most successful at the time. Conan not included actually, because that one was a super hit. And yeah, it's all about picking the right people, picking the right teams. It took me a few months just to pick the right people, and we've been working for about 8 months straight, just trying to do 9 books, and we accomplished it. Actually, we're almost done with the whole series, and I'm glad I'm glad it's over too, because I haven't slept.
So to even talk about this, because obviously one of the things, and I have a friend, Preston Poulter, and I know it's a name that gets people sometimes upset, but I like Preston. Preston almost buys rights to B movies and it sort of engages with them. And he read a book about where you could take a B movie and buy somebody out of it or buy a percentage of it. They'll get a percentage of it, and then you could take, because a lot of times if you add 3 or 4 or 5 shots to it, you could fix the movie and you can make it a profitable movie. And so,
Yeah.
I mean, with Sword and the Sorcerer, I really think that with the comic, you're taking the concept that this quote unquote B movie, it made money, made a lot of money, and then you're taking it and you're building off of that. And I think that's a very interesting concept because I think that, in comics, that to me seems the most logical position. If you want an idea and you get a weird B movie thing and then you build a comic off of it for like the third movie, but instead it's a comic book. And so I'm curious how you feel about it because you already have an audience built into this. And then you're also expanding it and then you're also reintroducing the original property along with the new property, and then you could sell both or sell one or sell neither or however you want to package it. And so
Right.
what is that like for you? Because it really goes back to business, I feel.
Yeah, for sure. I My take on this is close to what a Conan book is. It's just fun adventures. We're not gonna go into much of the. I mean, we do use the elements of the movie, but we only use the good stuff. We're not gonna use the boring stuff, obviously. Why would we do that? So we're just using the, let's say, the main bad guy, Suzia. It's we reuse it, we bring it back. Actually, it's in the sequel, on the first issue, and then we use it later on too, but without being redundant. So we're just trying to use the right elements, and instead of using him again as a bad guy, we use his powers to create new villains and expand the universe. Like I said, it's all about creating something that creating a world that everybody is gonna love, and trying not to copy all the books. Although I'm using the Conan formula, which is basically all the sort of the sorcerer stuff. It's based on that. Using is just a barbarian going into adventures, fighting monsters, and all that stuff. So we do that, but we also use the characters. We also have the backstories, the stories, and actually, this story, the 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 stories of the whole series, it takes place in the future. If someone is narrating the stories, and that's the main story. Like, there's an old guy who's been traveling and telling the story in each village, and I don't want to spoil it because that's very important to the ending. So I'm going to stop there. But yeah,
So,
it's
to even go further into that, I'm not going to go into spoiling for anybody, but even that idea of understanding what is good and what is bad, because we were speaking before, and I didn't tell you what book I have an issue with, but I mean, people in my inner circle know it. And the first two issues, it's boring as hell, and we don't need all that background. And then when you get into issue three, it starts getting exciting and we start getting somewhere. And then this writer could have written issues one and two in about 3 pages, and we could have got to the meat of the story. And
right.
instead of me having to spend, $24, I literally could have spent 16. And I also could have not read 45 pages of garbage, for lack of a better word. And
Yeah,
so I think that's a big problem in comics right now is that people don't know how to write short. I think people also, and this is just my opinion, I'm curious how you feel about it. People also say, look, I want 6 issues. And not every story has to be 6 issues. If you can tell your story in 3 issues, I get it that there's money. I get that there's publishers involved. I get that there's discussion of that, and that's sometimes on the table. But at the same time, you know, I didn't make it to issue 3 of this book because I got so bored at the end of issue 2. I'm like, I'm out, and
yeah,
that's a problem. And so I'm very curious because with this book and this series in particular, and I feel it's the first of many. Um, you seem to be getting to the adventure part and saying, "Hey, look, we have to give a little pre-context because you got to set up a circumstance, but we don't need to go into why Talon likes the color red. We
exactly.
he
No,
just right, like
no.
you get the point, right?
And you gotta understand that there's two different mediums. Obviously, you can translate how they speak in a movie into a comic book because it will be boring. And we actually did it. We did the first draft of the script, and I didn't like it at all because we were trying to copy whatever dialogue they have in the movie, and you simply just can't do it. Same for the artwork. We change it a little bit just to give it more like a adventure feeling, like more action, more battles, and speed up the pace. So because we're trying to keep you entertained, we're not trying to give you like a continuation of the movie in a comic book format. It's just a comic book that is based on the movie. And so we did a lot of changes. Actually, I just finished issue number one, and we just trying to do our best we can because we're in issue two, three, and four, five. We mix it up. We put some of the backstory of the characters, and then we do the action short stories, and we're just trying to keep you entertained. That's the best we can. And we have uh, two editors. I am one of them, and just to keep everything fresh and fun.
Yeah, no, and I think it's a big problem in comics where I think that everybody's trying to break new ground. And look, at a certain point, I think you have to break new ground. There's only so many times you can tell the same story over and over before I'm like, oh man, I know exactly where the story's going, and I could write this ending better than you can. There's a book that I know exactly how it's going to end,
Yeah,
and the writer doesn't know how it's going to end, and I'm like, there's only one way it can end. It's the
well,
saying is that there's only one way that Attack on Titan could have ended, and I called it in season one. There was one way
I
it could have
have
ended.
I have a twist that no one can guess. No one is gonna be able to guess. And it ties up with
It's
the
Dumbledore, right? It's really Dumbledore telling the story, right?
it's the you will see why the actually I tied up with the title too, and it's gonna be
I'm
a good
just saying
reveal.
it's Dumbledore, right? I mean, it has to
It's
be. I mean, he's
Dumbledore,
not
yes,
dead in Harry Potter. He
and
can't be.
Harry Potter shows up too.
It's just terrible. It's terrible. It's a terrible joke, everybody. It's just a terrible joke. Oh, I have a pretty good idea. I'm gonna guess, but I'm not gonna guess publicly, because once I guess it, everyone's like, "Oh, that's so good, man. That's so good." Um, I know where it's going. I know where it's going. But anyway, I don't want to keep pushing and ruining the story for everybody and how this all ends.
I won't.
Yeah, I know
That-
exactly
That's
how
the
it's gonna
money
end.
maker right there. You have to keep them guessing until the end.
But I do want to actually go into a little bit more of the weeds of this and a little more inside baseball because, obviously you mentioned it a little bit before, but obviously most people on Indiegogo and Kickstarter don't do a whole block all at once of material. It's becoming more common where people are doing issues 3 and 4. And the reason why people are doing issues 3 and 4 now is a lot of people have publishing deals and they want to get more content out there. They also have more money, or their entire project is already funded, or the publisher's like, hey, we want to just speed this up. And so they don't have a problem getting their content out quicker and making a little less money if they get publishing. But most
Right.
people do it issue by issue for a few reasons. A, it's expensive to run comics and create a comic. It's
Mhm.
anywhere from $4,000 to $10,000, give or take, all said and done per issue. Also, there's more money if you go issue by issue. You're doing variants, and that it's also it extends it, and then it also gives you an opportunity that if you fund issue 1, when you get to issue 2, you could sell issue 1 again and issue 2, and then you could sell issue when you get to 3, issues 1 and 2 and 3, and so on and so forth. So
Yeah.
there's obviously a lot of recoup money, but why did you decide to do it in a block and do issues 2 to 5? I think you're also doing the graphic novel if somebody wants that as well at the same time, which makes a
Yeah.
lot of sense. So what's the rationale behind it? Because it is interesting.
It's all about the rights. Um, the problem that we had before is that a cover the cover artist took a long time to do to deliver. Took a year, and I'm not gonna say his name because it sounds like I'm talking poop out of from. But
It's not hard to know who he is, and
yeah, obviously.
and
But
again, it's not a dig at him per
but I'm
se.
I'm I'm grateful he delivered, and it really took a long time. A year is a long time, and we were planning to do a lot of Kickstarters, a lot of Indiegogos in that time. But obviously, without the cover, we just can't sell it. So
So
that
let me ask you a question about that. What and again, I'm not trying to knock who the cover artist is, and I'll take the heat on it. Was it that the project itself couldn't move forward, or was it the name brand of said artist, or was it a combination of both saying, "Hey, I can't deliver an incomplete project to my backers as well, who backed this already, because I want to keep my name and my integrity," or was it all three of those things?
it's all of the above, because we were just trying to give him a good product, and we couldn't because there's no cover, and we already promised that it's published, and we came back down. Um, so that was the whole problem why we're releasing everything at once. But like I said, as soon as we have all the 8 issues and the graphic novel, the adaptation of the movie finished, we can we can sorry, I'm choking with that with the candy. Sorry. So then after that we can go back to do single issues back again. It's just the thing that you sign with the rights, that you have to publish them during a certain time, and if you don't, you lose them. You just can't do it anymore. So that's why we need to release them before September.
And so obviously, it's tricky too it obviously puts you into a rough position. And I think this is something that people who don't necessarily deal with movie rights or options or anything like that typically deal with and understand and fully get that when you are licensing a property to do something with, obviously every license deal is different, every contract deal is different, but when you're dealing with licensed properties, it does get complicated to some degree.
There's always complication in every project. Um, some people are just difficult. I encounter four actually from all the 60 or something artists and writers, like four of them, they just didn't want to deliver. They just they just want to disappear, and so I had to deal with that too. There's so many problems around, like when you're.
I mean, well, was I supposed to technically work on this, and I realized I couldn't deliver.
Oh, that too. You too. There you go.
But I was upfront about it. I'm like, hey man, I don't think I can deliver. In which I
Yeah.
got a lot of stuff going on in my personal life right now, and
No,
I
and I
really,
understand that those things can be fixed, and you talk to me, and no big deal. But these people, they just took the money and didn't want to do anything.
yeah, I didn't take any money. I was
Of course
very
not.
say, hey man, I'm
No, no,
I'm sort of
no, you're
shot
fine.
on. I'm like got a headache in my life, and I got 15 things going on in my own personal life, and me writing this is gonna kill me.
Yeah. So
Me writing 6 sentences on this book would have killed me. That's all I'm gonna
right.
say, everybody. I'm very honest about that. Where I was just not like in a good writing mood. It would have been a disaster, and I have no idea how to write a comic book, and it would have been bad. It would have been bad. Is all I'm gonna say. You would have gotten you been like, how is this guy alive? Like, it would have
Uh,
been bad to the T.
right. But yeah, it's normal. Every project has its own problems. Um, ours, we're battling against time. Like always trying to make it before the right
So
expires.
to even talk about that and go into the flip side of it, though, I mean, one of the things that obviously we moved into a very weird position in culture right now, where people like to binge watch things. I don't know if you're a big Netflix watcher, but I like when Netflix gets a show. I like this show. Over the weekend, I binge the entire thing. I'm a big anime fan, and Crunchyroll has a lot of things in the library. I
Yeah.
tear through anime very efficiently, where in a week I'll watch a 26 episode show because I'm binging it. And so, I mean, you start on Monday, you end on Sunday. It's not that hard. 7 days, 26 episodes. It's not that hard. It's like 3 or 4 a day. It's not that bad.
Yeah.
You skip the shows, you skip the endings. It's easy. There's a science to it. It's like 80 minutes a day. It's not bad. Um, if you watch while you eat your breakfast, lunch, dinner, and then you watch right before you go to sleep, there you go. 4 episodes, everybody. Just like that, just like that. But again, w- I think the flip side to this though is that now there is issues 1 through 5 are out, and so
Yeah.
somebody can actually binge it. And I also think to some degree, it might even be your sale in a graphic novel saying, "Hey, this is a complete story."
That's
And
correct.
you're not waiting anymore for, okay, the story's not done yet, but a good chunk of it is.
And not only that, not only is a thing that you can just binge, and you also save money on it. We're doing it very affordable, and you can save on shipping. Why would you want to pay for shipping for 4 books when you can have them, or 5? You can have them all at once. That's a lot of money you save.
Yeah, and even talking about that, I mean, obviously, I was on the phone with a company, a printing company today. We are having a very interesting discussion as I was trying to get them to sponsor my show, and I said, "Hey, man, I get it. This inflation and this recession, it's not easy." And look, I mean, I'm very, let's just say, I'm very bearish, and I think it's going to get a lot worse than people realize. And I think that and I say this openly, no offense, but comics are a luxury. They are not a necessity.
Yep.
And in case anybody hasn't realized, I've tightened up my comic book budget at my local comic shop. I'm tightening up my Kickstarter positions, and I'm expecting it to be very bad in the next 12 months. And so I think it's very, important that people in the comic community, whether they're going to realize it or not, is saying, okay, how do I make my products as affordable as humanly possible? How do I figure out shipping? Also, how do I figure out that if I'm running a Kickstarter every single month, maybe there's a way that if I know that I have backers, that I can combine shipping and I don't have to destroy them the extra, $6 or $7. Or if you're doing free shipping, how do I make it so that I'm saving myself $6? And that's the other thing too. Like I just shipped up 9 books to the same guy up in Canada. You might say, and I took a little bit of money off the bill on my eBay business, but guess what? I only had to ship them once to Canada. And
Right.
so that's the thing, is that the shipping wasn't as bad as people think it was, because I only had to ship it once, and he saved money and I saved money in the
Yeah.
process. And so I'm very curious about that, and even how you're thinking about that and dealing with this, because I think that this is the first time in a lot of people's comic careers that they're going to go through a recessionary and an inflationary time period at the same time,
Yeah.
and it's affecting everything.
Yeah, it's gonna be a difficult time. I mean, even through COVID was difficult because I went through 3 different printers. They didn't have a paper. Some of them didn't have people to work with. Some people just, I mean, they were full. There was a whole list of people trying to do it, like do print books, and I couldn't get into that. And not only that, I was charging for my Doomsday TV. I was charging really, really low on shipping, and now and it changed through the pandemic. The shipping was so expensive. I end up putting a lot of money from my own pocket, but I really don't care. I just wanted to put my books out, and so that people enjoy them.
Yeah, no, 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 and I appreciate that, and I can't wait to get my copy. But that's not the point. I'm looking forward to reading it because it's an interesting book. And I backed that book like right after we got off the first round, so I was
Yeah,
like, oh, this sounds interesting. And my mom was angry at me, which is fun, but that's not the point. Um, but this is something that I'm. Oh, nice, nice.
it's number 4 actually. I just got it too.
It's crazy.
That's issue number 1, and issue number 2. They're on my hands. Some of them they're already shipped. Actually, I don't know if yours went out.
Yeah, I don't know if mine went out. Again, I'm at the point now that I have so many books that are overdue, and that I've given up, and I'm being very selective right now for that
Yeah,
reason. Where it's not that I've had bad experiences on Kickstarter, where I had one bad experience and everybody knows who this guy is. I don't need to mention his name. Let's just say that if
say it. Say it.
somebody, what?
Say it.
I mean, it's Drew Ford. Everybody knows that it was a disaster. His entire experiences are just really, really bad, and people are still waiting for books. There was promises on stretch goals that were never delivered. That even 1/10 of them weren't delivered. And I was like, why am I spending $60 for a book? And it's supposed to be like a mini print and a postcard and some other stuff, and it was very, very bad. And you know he didn't have an answer for it, and he let's just say that he's not welcome on Kickstarter anymore by the community. Um, there were people who paid for like original art, they never got it. It's bad. But even to go further into this, obviously, I'm the affordable prices matter in a lot of ways right now, and so
Especially
what is it
now.
with you, even with the idea saying, hey, look, I don't need to make money, and I could break even per se, or even lose a little bit of money, because well, you still have a bunch of books. You can still print some books, especially with something like Doomsday TV. And then the Sword and the Sorcerer and this book, if you maintain the rights and you're working with Creamy Rat Studios and everybody else from there. The other thing is that obviously you're going to be running this book as long as it's selling in print run in a graphic novel format.
Until
So
I
I
get
don't
my money back.
until you get your money back, and also even still, if it's selling, you're going to run it forever in a graphic novel. You might not run the floppies forever, but you're going to be running the graphic novel forever because that makes sense. Because floppies is different. Obviously, the people want a limited print run on a floppy more so than anything else.
Yeah, I'm gonna do actually two graphic novels. I mean three technically. Issues 1 through 4. I'm gonna put them in a trade paperback, and 5 through 8, 5, 6, 7, 8, or I might do a 9, so you can. And there's a lot of content too. I got so many sketches, pinups. I can do another book of that. But I might do it in the compilation, the omnibus, and just put everything there,
And
and
then
and the adaptation too of the movie.
yeah, there's a lot of stuff that is out there with this, and obviously, I mean, there's just so much stuff that can be done with the graphic novel and floppies and a variety of other things that are out there. Not to mention that, obviously, once you put something into a graphic novel, it also is a different sale, it's a different audience as well, and a lot of more people are moving to graphic novel format reading as well. And then there's a whole bunch of other digital stuff that can be done with it too, depending on what you want to put in. I mean, if you get into comicsology, that's a big thing. You can get it into some other stuff too. But
Oh
again,
yeah.
I'm not, give you business advice for free. I'll charge you for that instead. I'm not as generous as I used to be. Let's just leave it at that. But even going further into this, because obviously you're on Indiegogo first, and so this is something that, and look, I'm not an Indiegogo user. I'm Kickstarter. It has nothing to do with politics. It has nothing to do with values. I just found that I was on Kickstarter first, and I really prefer to just stay on one platform because I know
Yeah.
that platform. It has my credit card info. Very rarely will I jump to Indiegogo. I think I've backed like 2 Indiegogos.
Yeah.
But like Zenoscope runs some stuff on Indiegogo, and I'm like, it also doesn't interest me. What some of the projects on Indiegogo. I also find that certain projects are a little pricey on Indiegogo in comics right now. For my
Everywhere.
budget.
Even
What?
Kickstarter, they're so expensive.
Yeah. It's an issue. I mean, I get priced out very, very quickly. I will not pay. I like to pay $10 to $15 for a cover A. If you're charging me $20 to $25 for a cover A, I can't justify that in my
Yeah.
head. And I don't really care if that's all you're printing. It's not really justifiable to me. But
Not at
I
all.
am curious why you're on Indiegogo versus Kickstarter.
Um, there's a big advantage of Indiegogo, and that's on demand. That you can just um, basically sell it forever if you want. If you keep sending your link to the right people, they will just buy it on demand, and it's in perpetuity. If you have 6 months until you don't sell one book or anything, and that's when you lose your on demand thing. But that's why I did. We did that at the beginning actually with issue 1. We did it on Indiegogo, and we we s- we just keep selling on up to right now. We're talking about a year ago. We keep selling over and over and over. People are interested in buying the Beasley cover, and they just find it on Indiegogo, and we're still selling it. Um, other
So,
than that,
yeah.
other
What are you
than that,
saying?
it's really not. A lot of people don't use it as much because most of the fans that we have are on Kickstarter. But I found that really a good asset to have, like selling it like over a year, maybe or more, 3 years. I mean, you keep selling. So we're
So,
just go
yeah,
ahead.
to even talk about that, because obviously, I mean, you got Simon Bisley, and Simon Bisley, Batman artist. I think he's done some other stuff. Is he a UK artist?
Yes, he is.
So he's in the UK. I thought he was. Obviously, he's done stuff for heavy metal. I don't know if he's done stuff for Marvel, but I know he's done stuff for DC.
I think
And
he has.
he has.
Yeah.
I don't know his Marvel work. That's why I asked. I know his DC work. I know his Batman covers and all that stuff. If you would like to buy a Batman Simon Beasley variant or regular cover, they're not that expensive. His original art is. Because his Batman pieces go from anywhere from 15 on the low end to like 25,000, give or take.
That's
Um,
right.
yeah, around it's a wide range because I've seen some of his pieces go for like 15,000. But the idea is that obviously he's a well sought after artist, and his pieces go for good money. And his cover work goes for really good money. Um, but what is this like for you with his cover? Because is that just you're printing as many of them as you're selling, or is there actually a finite amount of those covers out there?
Well, we're not gonna let it run out. Obviously, why would we do that? It's like putting a cap on your money. It's like we're just gonna keep selling it until we want. Because
No, 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 no. You know where I'm going with this, right? I mean, the whole thing about the question is that, you know, the reason why people put caps on books is that they want to limit it and they want to create a demand. They want to create the idea saying, hey, you have to get this now.
no, and
Or
I understand that, but listen, we're gonna do that with the holofoil and with the sketch cover because we're having three different covers. The regular cover is the one that we're not gonna stop selling. The other two are collector's item. We're only gonna print as many. I'm not sure yet what's gonna be the amount, but we are gonna keep those two as collector items.
because
And
because people want, some stuff saying, hey, I'm in a unique club with certain items. And they
yeah,
also say, hey, look, if I'm going to spend $40 on this or $50 on this, I want to know there's only 99 other people who have this cover, or there's only 200 people who have this cover. And obviously this is my wheelhouse. That's why I asked this,
yeah,
because people say, hey, look, you know what it is? I get that people want to print a bunch of cover A's, and they're going to continue to print that, and that's fine. But also, I don't want somebody to print. I buy my cover B first day, and you're going to be printing another 10,000 to cover B, because it makes it complicated
yeah.
when somebody says, "Hey, I want to sell my collection. How
I
many of these?"
understand. You want some value on your comic, of
And
course,
you want to be protected to some degree, also.
right? And we will do that with two covers. Actually, with many on the whole series, there's going to be a lot of good artists doing that. Actually, I don't know if I can name it right now because I haven't signed an artist, but it's a really good artist. It's a mainstream artist, and he's gonna do covers for us.
And so obviously that's kind of why I bring this up, because obviously people want their shit protected, for lack of a better word. Um, and so I think it's very interesting in that regard. But obviously, since we're already talking about it, we might as well jump into rewards here. So you could get it digital, PDFs 2 to 5. You probably could get the first book as well in PDF at some point in this campaign. So you can get pretty much everything
Yeah,
that you want in this campaign. You get the whole series. And then there's all these covers. Obviously, there's this one right here. Um, obviously,
that's it.
that's Stefano. Obviously, this is, I think
This is
this guy named
Christian
Alpha.
Navarro.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And then there's this one right here.
That's David Dion,
And then this one.
and that's my cover.
And then there's this thing right here too,
That's
which is the
the
Simon
Simon Beasley.
Beasley cover. So
That's an
obviously,
amazing cover,
and then I think this is the coloring book.
right? So
And then
what we do is do all the covers, all the pinups in the form of a coloring book. We're also adding new stuff like naked girls. It's gonna be for adults, so you can buy them. I'm
And then,
kidding.
there's some original pencil pages and stuff like that, which is pretty
Yeah,
cool. I think, what is it, like 120 for it?
yeah. I think I
Which is
lowered
not
it
that
actually.
bad.
I think it's 100 per. I'm not even sure. um,
Obviously, this is the shirt right here,
yeah, yeah. That looks amazing.
and
Oh,
that's the Simon Beasley shirt, right?
hey, look. That's the Simon Beasley shirt. We already have
And
a few. We have hats too.
yeah, I got a picture of the hat right here,
Yeah,
and
and we have
then
it colors.
obviously the mug.
Yeah, the Dragon Hunter, the statues. We have two different kinds of statues too. There's the prototype here, and we are gonna do mini swords, the tri-blade swords. These ones are keychains, and we're gonna do big ones too, replicas of the 14 inches.
It's crazy. It's crazy.
And
And
again,
then
we're trying to avoid to not have the product. We already have everything except for the books, but we have everything printed. I bought a 3D printer so I can do this. We have
so let's even talk about that, because one of the things that I think people make a mistake on with Kickstarter is having all of the tchotchkes, right? And look, obviously, you want to reward and entice your backers per se, but there gets to a point where you got to say, okay, how much money am I spending on the tchotchkes and all the stickers? And I get that stickers aren't that expensive per se, but all this stuff does add up after a while. And I mean, if
oh,
you're
for
in a
sure.
business, you got to figure out, when you buy a bunch of buttons, you might say, "Oh, I have 300 backers, 300 buttons. Isn't that expensive?" It's not per se. But it
Right.
also, if you're spending $50 here, $50 there, $30 here, that stuff gets priced pretty quickly, and that's something that I think a lot of people on Kickstarter don't fully understand per se. And so, what is this like for you to, I guess, service product and
Yeah,
then have product and then also have to store it and all that stuff, because that creates another problem per se.
I want people to think every time they hear about Gemini Comics, about the Sword and Sorcerer, I want them to think that this is our new model, that we're gonna have everything finished, everything printed. We're just gonna sell you the stuff, and that's what because I didn't like what happened to my last campaign, and it was I it's an excuse because it was through the pandemic, and it took me a long time, and I'm already sending the books and everything, but I want to erase that completely. Like I want people to wait a month. And that's only a few that the like I'm doing sketches. I'm gonna do this for a goal, stretch goal. I'm gonna give one sketch per buyer, and I'm already doing them. I mean, I'm doing all the artwork. So I don't want anyone to wait any time. Like, just that's a promise that we're doing.
No, no, no. I completely get it. In which that, obviously, I mean, I don't know if I'm coming back to Kickstarter. I got something else going on in October that might sort of take front and center stage in my life, and I'm going to be talking about it on Thursday on somebody else's show, in depth, hopefully. But that's the thing, is that I'm at the stage where I also, when I produce a book, I mean, I'm gonna basically fund it, because I'm in the fortunate position where I have an eBay store. So whatever I don't move out onto my Kickstarter, my eBay store will buy the excess of it, unless it's a Kickstarter book. And then that
Yeah.
will basically, I will print 100 copies of a Kickstarter book, and then I will shred the rest at my friend's job. Purposely at my friend's job. Not at my own house, but for a good reason. Because, yeah. You might as well break an OSHA rule or two in the process. Don't worry, everybody. I will Facebook Live it. It will be behind a paywall. I promise. I have to make up the cost somewhere here.
Right.
That's interesting because obviously there was somebody on Facebook who was saying something, and I don't disagree with part of what he was saying. He said, "I spent $10,000, and after the fees and everything, I only got 5,800, but I spent $10,000. But I have all these books, and I got something, but I got a lot of marketing, and I have a lot of the books." And that's how I run my eBay business, is that I could hold on to the debt. But I think that's something that a lot of people either don't feel comfortable with on their first book, or that they have other obligations per se. And so they need, Indiegogo or Kickstarter to really help either pay for art or pay for the printing or be the seed money for the next book per se. And
Right.
so, and also the issue becomes when you go and do something that this guy was saying. And then I would love to have a conversation with him, because I think it'd be an interesting debate, is what happens though is that if you can't sell through your product. And I think that's an issue in of its own self. And I think it's a real problem right now. And that's why what he was saying isn't wrong, but it's also not as black and white as he was presenting it. And so I'm curious how you're dealing with that, because obviously I don't want to wait if I back your book. But at the same time, I also understand that not everybody can take a risk the same way.
Well, I think it is a risk. Obviously, if a lot of people don't know what they're doing, they think they do. I mean,
I
they
didn't know what I was doing on my campaign, and I didn't have any. I had, what, 2 physical goals at best? I mean, I didn't know what I was doing, and I'm the first person to admit it. It's a miracle that I got funded.
yeah. And
People hated my campaign, everybody. People hated my campaign.
but
And I
why?
want you to say, the amount of hate that I got, you guys didn't finish me off. You didn't finish me off. You only made me stronger, which is a problem.
Yeah,
You only made me stronger. So all the bullets you were flying my way, now I'm imprevious to those
but,
bullets.
but
And it's
yours was
super.
successful, right?
What'd you say?
It was successful. Your campaign was successful.
Barely. But again,
Barely.
the most successful thing is that all the hatred and all the bullets have become super ineffective against me. So the next time these people hate me,
There's
they'll
a lot
come
of
with sprinklers, man.
negative people. There's a lot of people that just want to see you fail, and I got my share of that too. Like there's a lot of people that just
The
wish me.
problem
Yeah,
with you versus me is that if you don't take me out, I just get stronger.
that's
I
true.
just get stronger. There's a list. And now what you tried to take me out with is not going to work the next time. And
Yeah,
so now you have to up the ante if you want to take me out. That's the problem.
that's
They
right.
only made me stronger.
That is true. Even with a loss, with something that you did wrong, you grow as a person. You grow, and you learn, and you learn how to ignore all these people.
See, I'm not ignoring them. I'm going to meet them right at their front door and be like, hey, what's up, guys? And go right into their space. And I'm going to give it right back to them. And it's irony, because the same people who are attacking my campaign are running campaigns. And
Right.
so right when they're doing their stuff, I'm going to be like, you attacked me. Congratulations. I'm attacking you. Welcome to the circle of life. Here's Simba.
It's
And
the
then,
circle of life.
I mean, the whole problem is that it's a joke to me now, and that's how I view it. Is that if you're gonna give something to me, you got to learn to take it. And if you can't take it, then why just speak up in the first place?
That
That's my whole.
sounds a little vengeful.
Oh no, I'm not vengeful at all, or revengeful, or spiteful, or any of that. No, I'm just, see. I find what I find about comics right now, and I'm very honest about it, is that I find that a lot of it is almost hypocrisy. where I find that there's a lot of that going around. I got no problem openly saying it. Where I find that a lot of people who used to be givers are now takers. I feel like there's an ego problem in comics right now, and this is
Always
like
been.
this is the antithesis of what indie was. Indie has become DC and Marvel, and it's a problem. Like I am humble. You know, I'm launching. I mean, I'll tell you what I'm launching in October. Briefly, I'm launching a class. My objective is to keep that class as cheap as humanly possible, because I don't want somebody. And if somebody comes to me and says, "Hey, I can't afford what you're doing," and they're genuine and they're sincere, we'll figure out something else how to get them into my class, because I know what it's like to be humble, and I think that's and indie was supposed to be that, and it's not. It's become very corporate, and I almost feel like DC and Marvel. And I speak to people at IDW, and they're humble as hell, and I'm like, how did this happen? And that's the problem with indie right now, is that there's a bunch of people who have achieved economic success and are doing 20, 30, $40,000 Kickstarter campaigns or $50,000 campaigns, and they forgot what it's like when they did their first one for 1,500.
I agree with you 100%. I know who you're talking to. Like you're talking about those people. Yeah, I meet them all the time. I go to these interviews all the time, and some people just like they behave like they poop don't stink, and just
You want to hear the crazier part of all those people? Do you think those people are wealthy or poor?
probably poor, like starving artists.
Do you know why? Do you know why they're poor? A
They
lot of these people, this is the myth of Kickstarter. Here's the problem: they're doing X amount of money, but their expenses are out of the roof. So
yeah.
they talk like they're worth millions of dollars,
Yeah.
yet they don't own their house. They have debt. They have expenses. They have liabilities. And you look at somebody who's doing a $1,500 campaign, and the guy's probably worth more than the person who's doing a $50,000 one every single month. It's insane.
That is true.
It is terrifying. And once you start diving into it, I mean, now that my career and your career is over and everybody in comics is going to hate us, yeah, but I don't care. I don't care. It's great. Sorry that I'm in your career today. This is what happens. This is how season 3 has evolved. Everybody, this
Yeah.
is exactly how season 3 has evolved. Is that I'm
Season 4, we're gonna talk shit about everybody.
It's not. No, no, no. We didn't name anybody. We didn't name anybody because, again,
No,
I
but
like
season
people.
4 we will do it.
I like these people, right? I really do, and I like a lot of these people who I'm talking about are my friends. But their attitude needs to change. They need to be reminded of, hey, you're in indie comics, and you have become the thing that you did not want to become.
That is
And
true.
it's complicated, but enough about ruining your career. Oh, my career is over. I mean, there's no question about it. But again, I'm forging my own path, and miraculously, people still like me. But I do want to talk about the Blu-ray,
Yeah.
because
It
that's
just
a big deal. That's a big deal.
it just came out. The publisher is shout in. No, shout out in. I forgot the name of the company. But they're releasing the 4K Blu-ray um, Ultra HD, and it's got so many features, so many great features. It's a double disc, and there's interviews. They interview the director, the special effects guys. They what else they're doing?
I mean, I know Albert was interviewed in there. I know a
Yeah,
few other people were interviewed. I know that there's like audio commentary or like audio like storytelling in there as well. I think from Albert's perspective. Um, what else is in there?
there's the new. There's the interview with Albert Puing, the new audio commentary with Albert Puing. Um, there is the interview with the actress Kathleen Beller, the interview with co-writer and co-producer John Stockmeyer, interview with editor Marshall Harvey, interview with the special makeup effects artist Alan Apone, interview with the artist the Chiodo brothers, Charles, Edward, and Stephen. I don't know who they are, but they did something in the movie.
Clearly,
Yeah,
if
I really
three
don't know what
brothers,
they did. Maybe they did the poster.
I mean, let's put it this way: if you're three brothers and you all did something together, I mean, that in its own is a feat.
Yeah,
You try
and
getting three brothers working on one project, Ozzy. That's all I'm gonna say.
yeah, the cast and crew remembering stuntman Jack Tyree and theatrical trailers, TV spots, and a still gallery. That's all that there is on that.
A lot of stuff, guys, is in
Yeah,
this thing. And what is this like for you? Because again, I was sort of alluding to it before, and you mentioned it, where you now have these single issues. You got graphic novel stuff. Obviously, you got merch, which I don't know if there was merchandise for the sword and the sorcerer before, but
I
now
only
there's.
seen a shirt, a T-shirt. That's it.
But like you got a hat, you got another T-shirt, you got a few other things, and
I
obviously,
mean,
and now you got the movie, and it's kind of I mean, I don't want to say it this way, but it's like if this is almost like being a kid in a candy store. If you really enjoyed the movie, or let's say that you're a grandparent and you got like a 7-year-old, and you're like, hey, I remember this when I was 20, all of a sudden, that's out there too, where you know it gives a lot of options for people to pick stuff up. And it also, I know this is included in the campaign. That's another thing too, is I think you can get this on a separate tier, just the Blu-ray, right?
that's correct. As an add-on or just a single with the
And,
book.
and the reason why I bring this up is that because one of the things about tiers that is very helpful in both Kickstarter and Indiegogo is that everybody has different money at different times by nature. And
For sure.
so one of the things is that somebody might be like, hey, look, I'm not a graphic novel comic guy, but this Blu-ray just came out and I would like to support an indie project, but can I get the Blu-ray from you? Or conversely, you know, I'll mention my friend Travis. So I might not like a book Travis does, but if Travis has a tier on his campaign that does have a book I like, I want to buy that on that Kickstarter so I can support that Kickstarter. Or I'll say to Travis, hey, can I buy it from you directly? Right? Because
Yeah.
first thing, Travis can throw it to me and point me in 10 different stores. And I'd be like, you get it from this store. I'm like, but I want to buy it from you directly, not for you to sign it, not for you, but I want to support you.
Yeah, and everybody can buy all the things that they see. If they Google my name, they can find me on Facebook. I'll sell you whatever. I mean, I've done it for many other projects. So just sell directly whatever you need.
But that's the thing where I think the Indiegogo, especially with this Blu-ray, is very cool because you didn't produce the Blu-ray, but obviously it is connected to the graphic novel, and it has more of an indie tie to it, and an indie
I,
support versus
I
me going to
actually
Walmart and buying it.
I actually talked to the company. I was trying to do something special, like imagine the Blu-ray with a Beasley cover. Isn't that like a collector's item thing? But they unfortunately they didn't go for it. Um, but there's still I'm still selling it, and it's gonna be a great.
I have an idea for you on that, and I got no problem saying it. So technically speaking, Blu-rays they have the fold out thing because I'm a big Blu-ray guy who gets my stuff signed by voice actors.
Right.
So you could technically create an alternative one of those things and run it where somebody can just swap it out.
No, that is true.
So
That's
so if
that's
somebody
a
just
great idea.
orders it, you could just get the dimensions and then print something else on that and then it can swap that, or it could be put in there And better yet, what you should do is that you should create a space somewhere on it so that if they see Simon Bisley, that he could sign it right there. And I'm not saying he has to sign anything, but if somebody's like, "Yo, I want Simon Beasley to sign it," and now he has like a spot on like the alternate Blu-ray cover. Oh, brilliant, right?
You do have good ideas, man.
This is why I get paid a lot of money.
Right.
So obviously, and then I think you have playing cards. I want to say as
Yeah,
well.
playing cards, poker cards. We have what else? We have the mugs,
We went through the mugs. We got the hats. We got the statues. We got the swords. The
the
coloring book. Oh
commissions
yeah,
by
the
you.
commission. That is true. Commissions.
Same as the blank covers. They're gonna be commissions with whatever character you want, and they're so affordable. Believe me, that's like 40, 45 bucks. I never do that with my artwork. We have 5 different kinds of shirts, and we're gonna have more technically. I want every cover to be a different T-shirt.
There's a lot of stuff, and then obviously if there's something that somebody wants and it's not there,
A little bit
I'm
for everybody.
pretty sure that you can figure out, and they could hit you up, and you'll figure out how to get it for them. I'm the same way where if somebody wants something from me, there's a million ways how to figure things out with me. And so that's something to keep in mind as well, where I'm sure that if somebody's like, hey, I need 5 swords, man. I got 5 grandkids, and if I only get one of them a sword, they're all gonna kill me. I need 5 of them.
Yeah,
Can you make me a package of 5 of them, or can I buy 5 of them?
100%. I can do that. I can do, like I said, whatever you want, whatever you need. Go straight, talk to me, and very easy going. I can just do whatever. I just want to sell some stuff.
And so that's something in there. And obviously, though, I do want to back out of this. I don't want to keep you here all night. I got another interview in 40 minutes, which means that I have 30 minutes to make myself a cup of tea. It might take me 20 at the rate I'm
Really?
going.
That long for a cup of tea?
It's been a challenging day.
You're gonna be shaking. I want some more.
It's been a very challenging day. It wasn't my fault though. I promise. Apparently, the state of Connecticut has decided that the website I need has been down since last Tuesday. So it's been a very challenging day.
So yeah,
When you're trying to better yourself, is all I'm going to say here. And then the website has been down. This is for like a week. Okay,
oh wow,
challenging day to say the least. But I would ask you about cons, Kickstarter, all that stuff. But we can talk about cons, and I'm curious briefly where you think they're going, because obviously I don't even know anymore, and I'm massively confused on the entire concept of a con, and even just also on a comfort level. Nothing against my fellow comic people, but I'm not so comfortable being around 20,000 people so quickly. Even moving, and look, I was never terrified in COVID. I'm vaccinated. It has nothing to do with that. I just don't want to be around 20,000 people,
COVID is
and
not over yet.
it's COVID, and it's also the fact that there's a lot of problems in society on a
Yeah,
mass level,
yeah,
and I'm just waiting. I'm just waiting. I mean, I'll tell obviously what happened yesterday at a parade, and then for those who are in the wrestling community, there was a stabbing outside a wrestling show just
wow.
recently, and I think in Chicago, I think, or maybe even more out west. And so like I I haven't heard anything at an anime con, but I'm just waiting, or a comic con. I'm just waiting, and I hate to be negative. I'm not trying to instill fear, but
Yeah,
I don't want to be around 20, 30, 40, 50,000 people so quickly. COVID, and there just seems to be more mass violence occurring in our society. So I'm curious how
yeah.
you feel about even just that entire thing, because it just seems to me that it's an invitation for problems.
Well, mm, like you said, there is nothing happened in a convention yet. as soon as it happens, everything's gonna change. But
COVID's happened now to me,
no, no,
NYC
yeah,
COVID.
and that's
But
exactly why I don't go to conventions. Like because 2 years ago I had COVID and it almost killed me. I was in the hospital. I was in a really bad shape. I'm still in a bad shape after 2 years. So all the coughing is because of that. My lungs are destroyed. Um, but it, I am going to take a couple of um, conventions in Colorado. Uh, the, uh, I'm scheduled to be at the Salida Comic Con and also at the FOCO, Fort Collins Comic Con. And after that, I'm not sure what else. I did apply for a bunch of them, but I'm still not sure if I want to travel and to do big ones. I'm talking about small ones here in Colorado.
where I'm at is that there are three that I would consider, and they're big. But again, I don't want to do small. Also, um, they're tactful where it's marketing for me.
Right.
And obviously, what for Thursday, I'm going to talk about it more publicly. But even without cons, I'm going to do fine in my business and my class and my project. I don't need it because I can actually use the con without having to be there. Just on a marketing level, it's so much
Right.
easier but VCon would be a really good marketing place because all my customers will legitly be there, and I could
Yes.
sell to all my customers so easily
But
that that it will, and that's the only reason why is that I will go to a con, I will spend $1,000 essentially for a hotel and parking and food, and I will make a lot more than $1,000
yeah,
without having a table, which will be crazy. But I digress. Um,
what one of the things that is going to erase a lot of work for me is that we already have a publisher for the book, and no one knows this, but and I really don't want to say it yet. It's going to be a good reveal. Like once we sign the contract, and it's a good one.
I'm going to ask a question, not about your publisher, but about publishing in general, because I don't know. When you have a publisher, does that mean that's somebody who puts their brand on the book, and or is that also the people who are handling the printing and distribution and all that
They
stuff?
handle everything. Basically, I just give them all my files, and they will do whatever they want with the book. They will distribute the book. They will market the book. They will put their logo. They will erase my logo, and
And obviously they take
they'll
a
take
cut.
over.
I mean, they take a cut out of it. You get a royalty, for lack
Right.
of a better word,
That's
and
correct.
that works first thing you getting equity for when it's indie, right?
That is correct. Yeah,
No,
and
no,
it
I
will.
asked this question because it's a good question.
It is a good question. Yeah, for sure. A lot of people don't know what that is. I mean, but it will take a lot of my work. Like I don't have to go to conventions and try to promote the book. Which
You,
I'll still do. I'll still do. But
you,
what I'm saying is like
you but I'm going to challenge you slightly on this. I mean, you still have to promote the book. You
I
still
do.
have to do the media tour. You
I
just
do.
don't have to be on the phone call to your printer. You're 2 weeks late. What's going on? Like if
Right.
they're doing phone calls, but
Exactly.
you still have to do media. I mean, because naturally, whether you're selling it directly or indirectly, I mean, my mom published a book and she still has to do media.
Yeah. No. No. I
She's
said
just
it.
not the one printing it.
It was the wrong thing to say, but it will take less because they will also promote the book, and I'm going to. Because I want this to be successful, at the same time, I don't want the stress.
What you really don't want. You just don't want to do the printing. You don't want all the hex. Is really what they're taking away.
That is correct. Because
That's what a publisher does. It technically is that they take away all the headaches. Because let's be realistic. You doing this type of interview is fun.
that is correct. For 23 years, I've been published. I never publish anything except for this one and the Monsters and Gods. And I'm so used to that other companies just take care of that, take care of everything, take care of the distribution, take care of the talking to the printers, take care of paying for it. I don't have to do that, so it's a good thing.
Oh, you're spoiled. Yeah. I'm completely self
Well,
like
that's the thing
promoted.
about doing a good project. That just you can sell it.
But then again, you know what it is? I'm an equity guy, and I don't think I would want it any other way because I like when like if I read a comic and I'm years off, I mean I'm gonna milk that thing. I'm gonna be just selling it like crazy and running that thing so many ways. I'm gonna be taking such distribution equity out of it. It's gonna be fantastic. And I don't know if I want to give it to a publisher. I'm gonna be like, look, I'm gonna make more money doing it myself. I'll rather build a team and build a like empire out of it. Like,
Yeah, yeah, but at the same time, if you're attached to a company that has a really good name, your name will gonna increase in value too.
but I'm so different because I want to compete against the big boys and I want to beat them. Like
Yeah,
that's who I am. But by definition, that's exactly who I am. And
but
so I like fighting and I like competing.
I
And
have done
so
I have done that for 20 years, so I'm just not gonna do it anymore.
I love the fight, and I love building things, and I love building companies.
Yeah,
Yeah. But I digress. This is a different conversation for a different day. We've been speaking for an hour and almost 20 at this point, and I do want to give you a chance to self promote yourself before I keep you here all night.
right.
So
So
where can people find you, bother you, hit you up? Where can people get the Indiegogo? Where can people pick stuff up from you that you've done beyond, this book and because you've been around forever?
yeah, if you Google my name, there's a whole list of companies that I work with, all the books that I've done. Um, but you can find me on Facebook. You can find the Sword and the Sorcerer Chronicles on Facebook too. You can join that book for updates. Um, you can also find me on both campaigns, both platforms, the Indiegogo and the Kickstarter for the Sword and the Sorcerer, which we have the book number one out, and this new campaign is in Indiegogo right now. It's for books number 2, 3, 4, and 5, and with so many perks. We already talked about it, uh, from the hats to the t-shirts to the stickers. These are going to be some of the stretch goals stickers. Actually, the first stretch goal is going to be this one. If we're about to cross that line, actually, we're at about 470 something, and as soon as we hit 500, this is going to be the first stretch goal, which is a original sketch of the characters from the movie or from the comic book. And we're also selling statues. We're selling posters. The next, actually, we're not selling the posters. The next stretch goal is going to be the poster, and after that, we're going to do uh, the stickers. We have keychains. Also, the keychain. This one is missing the chain, but it's a cool thing to have. And so, yeah, you can find us there. Um, there's gonna be a Kickstarter for issue number 2 uh, pretty soon, and we're gonna do the Indiegogo for issues 6, 7, and 8, and a possible 9, but we don't know yet. And
Yeah,
also,
there's a lot of stuff.
it's a
A
lot of
lot of
stuff.
stuff.
Yeah, I'm still doing the formatting on all the pages, so I think I might have enough to put a number 9. But if not, that's gonna be 8 issue 8, and that's it. And after that, it's gonna take it easy for a while. Trying to do another Kickstarter for issue number 4 of Doomsday TV. This one right here. I already print a bunch of them, and it's a really good quality book.
A lot of fun stuff, guys.
It's
A
a
lot
lot
of
of
fun
fun
stuff.
stuff. Yeah. So again, this
And
is gonna be the
so,
same format.
so
No waiting for anything. Everything is published. Everything is gonna be paid for, and you only have to send us the money, pretty much a sale.
yeah, no, it's an interesting way, and then obviously, I mean that's one way people do Kickstarter. People obviously need the funds to do Kickstarter, and then also people like to recoup their money using Kickstarter as well. You know,
Yeah.
I was technically a sale on my campaign, and people have learned very quickly that if you didn't back my campaign, you didn't have an interesting project, you did not get on this year, and you get on when I want you to get on now. Is all I'm gonna say to people. If you didn't back me or you don't throw me money. And life's expensive. Get a helmet. That's all I'm gonna say. Um,
Yeah,
this isn't free. This show, it's not.
for sure.
There are expenses with it. It's not cheap to run this, and you people do not have the right to just be on people's shows, and you get what you pay for. And also, if you want to get to the front of the line, that's all I'm gonna say. Is there's a way how to do that, and money definitely is one way how to do that. I'll tell you the other two ways. If you shoot me an appropriate message and you actually say, "Man, I saw your interview 6 months ago. That was a great interview." I'm probably going to pay attention to you because you actually know me and you know my product. Or if you bring me a guest, or you say, "Hey, can I send you a physical copy of your book, my book?" That's another way in which that because now you're actually putting equity in to me.
Right.
It's just the way it is. If you want to get on my show, bring me a guest that I don't have access to. If you want to get on my show, actually have a relationship with me. Send me either money or have something that's actually interesting to talk about. Have a book that's not generic. Is all I'm going to say. And if you'd like to send me money, I have buy me a coffee up there. It's in the show notes, guys. Again, and $5 goes a long way in my world. Is all I'm gonna say. It means a lot. If somebody throws me $10, it means a lot. If somebody wants to throw me $30, that's great too. It goes a
Show me
long
the
way.
money.
Yeah, some Shane O'Mac. Money, 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 money.
Yep.
Anyway, on that note, obviously I got my own stuff to promote. Obviously, all my social media is down below. I have my own T-shirt on Redbubble right now. Looks like this. Figure we would go throw that up there. I got these up on eBay, so you can buy that. I have a few of those left. I got this up on eBay. I only have like 42 of these left.
What is that? Is it a sticker?
That's a metal card.
Oh, the metal card. Okay.
That's a metal card of a psycho, very, very well endowed woman who would be fun to have a good time with, but not wake up with her holding a knife. May or may not be the subject of my next comic. Just saying, it could be fun to hang out with that, but if you wake up and she's holding a knife and there's blood on it, you might want to look and check. Yeah. I'm just saying, but those are limited to 50. And so that's something to sort of just think about. And yeah, good times. I mean, fun story on that point. But anyway, I digress. Go buy me a coffee, guys. I need the money. Seriously, go actually support an indie
Send us some
show.
money.
Ozzy doesn't need your money. I need your money. I would like to be able to buy a frappuccino tomorrow, guys.
I do
So
need the money.
I need the money badly.
I'm on red numbers after paying for all these 9 issues. It's a lot of money. It's an investment.
I'll put it a different way. So I am good for season 4 for my show. I have at least one more season in me. If you would like to see this show continue to season 5, see it in podcast format and actually see it expand, well, you got to put your money where your mouth is, and that's what it goes to. If I've obviously reached out to sponsors. If you want to sponsor on my show, there you go. That's another way where you have to put your money where your mouth is. And everybody talks about it, but until you put your money where your mouth is, talk is cheap. So that's all I'm going to say on that point, and I'm going to give you the final word.
Just find the store on the Sorcerer on Kickstarter on Indiegogo. Sorry, uh, this is one of those passion projects that not many people can do, but it's a reality for me. I work with the most amazing artists that I mean, Simon Beasley, Stefano Cardozelli, Francesco Conte, Romualdo Silva, David Dion. There's like 60 of them, and they're top notch. Believe me, this is a project that you will not regret getting it, and it's already finished, so the work's done. So thank you for having me on the show, as
Yeah,
always.
anytime, man, anytime. And on that note, everybody, that is a wrap.